Hey fam, we are excited because we have another one of our clients that has been with us for some time and they have actually graduated from the program. Yeah, you can too once you join us. Okay, so anyway, we have Amber and we have Pete, and they're going to share some insights to you and with you that is going to make your relationship evolve too. So, you guys ready? You ready?
Yes.
Yes, we
All
are.
right. Well, first of all, why don't you guys tell us how did you find out about us? Or Marriage Evolves, should I say?
I'll go. So, we'll take it back a little bit. I remember when we met through Reggie and Leah, from friends
Yeah.
of ours in our small group, and you guys had attended a Fire Pit Friday.
Fire Pit Friday.
And
That's right.
that's where we met you guys, and you guys just walked in with this vibe, with this aura. I remember that because I remember talking to you, Rod, and just thinking, man, just full of wisdom. And then just the more and more we showed up and kind of talked, I remember you guys telling us about like your vision and what you guys did, and man, we were in a place where we really needed that. So I remember we talked and it sounded good to us, so let's do it. So
Sis. Come on, girl.
I mean, I could ditto. No, the same. You guys had walked into Fire Pit Friday, and I actually remember when we were planning the Fire Pit, they were like, I think we're going to invite our friends Ron and Roshawn that we just met. We're like, okay, so we walked in, and I remember having conversations with you two, and just all of us getting to know each other. And then from there, I think it was actually our small group that that you guys had joined, the Let's Talk About It small group, and we got to know you guys there, and just all of the value that you guys added into our small group. And then of course we came into a season that we needed help. We needed help, and I know he had brought it to me. He had been talking to Brother Rod, and so the rest is history.
And here we are.
And here we are.
Yes. Here we are. That is an understatement. When you say here we are, there's a portion of it that lets me know that, first of all, you say we. That means it's the team, right? And I think that is something that we always share with couples. Even though you come in looking for tools, you come in looking for areas that you need to improve in, we always want to get you in the mindset of you're a team. You're working at this together. You have different perspectives, you have different approaches, but you're still a team. And when you say, here we are, y'all been graduated, you went through the process. But how was that process for you? Did you ever want to quit in it?
If I'm not mistaken, I think there was a moment that I actually walked out. It was hard. It was, I mean, there were good times, and then there were times that were difficult. I think especially on my end, because it was difficult for me to open up, but also hear that tough love that came from you guys, and that true and honest, like, look, this is what you're gonna need to do, like, this is where you guys are going. This, like, it was very hard for me. And yes, there was I think one session that I needed a couple minutes, maybe 10.
We needed a drink on that one. We did.
But that was also, I think, one of our sessions that, when I came back to it, that was probably one of the most powerful ones. So,
Wow.
Yeah, I think that there was breakthrough in that one.
Wow.
So you said something, Amber, that brought me to a thought. You wanted to step away, and you actually did for a few minutes, but you came back, and you finished the process. Now, there was an exercise that we had to work through. You remember that exercise?
Oh, which exercise was it? Wait.
This is the one.
Which one was? There was a couple of them.
There was.
Yeah.
But the one I'm thinking about was the maze.
Oh, yes.
The trust.
Yes.
The trust. Right?
And I know you probably thinking, what in the world these people got me doing? Put me in some blindfold. But what was it about that maze? if you can share maybe 1 or 2 points that you, in the beginning and then at the end, that you got out of that process.
So it was, for me, one of my hurdles that I've always had to get over is to trust Peter and to trust even like opening up to him or having conversations with him. It was always, I didn't trust that he wouldn't react a certain way, or I didn't trust the reaction that I was going to get, or that I can open up. So during that what was it? Exercise.
It's okay.
It really made me, I had to trust in his voice and trust that he was leading me in the right direction and leading me to where I wasn't going to, bump into here or fall over here. And at the end, it did feel good. I might have cheated a little bit.
Oh.
I might have.
Oh, now you want to tell
No,
us.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I wanted
The
to.
truth
I wanted
You just
to.
need to
I
graduate.
wanted to
That
at
was it.
first.
We need to pull her certificate and bring it back.
Right.
I wanted to. But at the end, just kind of being able to have that embrace with him at the end, and knowing that I did trust that process, it felt really good.
Wow. How was it for you, Pete, when you had to get her to listen to your voice and to share in that moment of trust me, baby?
Mhm. So on the opposite side of it, like that was my hurdle, was being frustrated all the time because I felt like she didn't trust me. She didn't trust my leadership, or just being the husband, being the father, the man of the house. Not that I wanted the control, which we talked about that as well, right?
Yep.
But just like that trust from your wife that I got you, you can trust me with whatever you're dealing with our finances, with intimacy, with whatever it is, right? Like we just want to be respected and trusted and desired and all those things. And I think that was always my hurdle on the other side of it. So going through that exercise, also learning to be gentle with the way I'm giving the direction, right? Just,
Yeah, because some of y'all, y'all can be very passionate.
Oh yeah.
That's the word Roderick used.
Absolutely.
Passionate. Mm-hmm.
And I remember that because we had talked about it afterward, and kind of like you said, we could be very passionate. So asking something, hey, let's go this way, right? In talking about that exercise, let's go to the right. Just do it. Just how come you can't? You know what I mean? Like it's that language, that communication that I had to learn, like a gentleness to just trust me. It's okay. You're fine. Just walk this way. Just walk that way. So I actually really like that exercise because it's so simple, and you think like, what are we doing? But it makes so much sense because you can use that in everything. So, I think it was definitely like a lowering your pride and heightening your trust. So
yeah, that I thought it was and has been the most effective. Would you say the most effective exercise that we have used?
Yes, I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, out of all the ones that we do, that would probably be a strong 9.
Yes. Yeah. Because most couples have that same issue when it comes to trust or the communication or whatever. It definitely has been the best to sit back and watch.
The best or most entertaining.
Yes, because you're like, oh my God, no, where am I going? And we did it with a couple in Hawaii, and she was like, oh my God, I have to relinquish my control.
Right.
Yes, you do.
I'm glad you brought that one up because more importantly, when we did the little after with her, the briefing, she shared that her mindset, the way it was, she tried to analyze
That's
how
what it
the room was
Yes.
set up and try to mathematically maneuver the same way
Yeah.
instead of listening to her husband. And she figured that, wait a minute, something's different.
They moved the furniture.
Yeah.
We actually did. As soon as we put the thing on her, we moved everything. Because we know how she was. Because we knew that she would look at it and try to analyze it and whatnot. And she did just that. So that was amazing. Yeah.
So we shared, that particular one, and I know we did, like you said, Amber, a couple of different, exercises in that 10-week program. But since you've been done and finished and graduating, you've been living life some more. Can you share what is one of the most effective strategies that you took away from that program that helped you to learn how to deal with conflict resolution?
Great question for you.
Oh, you're going to pass the ball.
For me, I think it goes back to having that transparent and open communication. That was always one of my biggest struggles, was just being able to talk and talk truthfully and honestly and completely vulnerably with him. I didn't and this goes to like he said, our intimacy, our finances, just really everything. I would always whatever you say that but I never really was able to, in my eyes, it had nothing to do with him. It was nothing. It could have been past instances that maybe the conversations didn't go well, but I think that one of the strongest things that I took away was being able to openly and honestly have conversations with him. Obviously, there's another one. I remember there was something you had said, and it was surrounding our biggest issue of intimacy. And I remember you had said,
Dang, what did I say?
No, you had said, you had given the umbrella analogy about, a lot, it's raining outside and allowing your husband, like, not having that connection, that intimate connection with him, and then allowing him to go out into the world, like, uncovered without an umbrella. And for me, that although it's still, it's still something that we're learning and we're navigating, that analogy that you had given had resonated just so much with me. And I think we've even shared it, like, in our small group even afterwards. But so
yes, use it.
It's making play. Again, on the opposite end of it, vulnerability. I'm a very vulnerable person. I have no problem speaking, right? So a lot of times I assume that she should be the same or other people should be the same, right? And so I know you've told me many a times, like, give it some time. When you do come to the table and talk about it or whatever it is, have some patience. I just remember that. Have some patience, And we've talked about, like, our upbringings and our, how we grew up and all that stuff, how it plays into it. But just being patient with her process of whatever, we've talked about or what's going on, and just try to listen, because I know I'm a talker. And sometimes in my mind, I don't understand, well, how come they just don't get it? How come they can't just talk about it? How come, but again, I have to try to, like, give her that processing time, and I get a better Amber. And I get a better response, when I do give her that. So that's what we've had to do, and it's been working. It has. So
that's amazing. And one of the things that Roderick and I have said and shared so much about you guys is, and we loved when we seen the aha moments, when we've seen it in both of you guys, it was like, oh, wow, okay. It was a look that you guys gave. You probably didn't recognize it, but it was a look that you guys gave that was like, okay, they finally got it. They understand this process. And so knowing that every step is a process, and you reflecting back on the process that you went through, what advice would you give any couple out there who is wanting to go through marriage coaching?
Well, I think you just said it. To trust the process. There was, although there was the one time that I walked out, there were plenty of times driving here that either we had come off of a bad week or a bad day, and we just it wasn't the first place we wanted to be. But when we got here, we would always leave and we would be able to have conversations in the car. So it and I remember something you had even said is I think there was a week that I had came in and I didn't do my piece of the homework.
You sure didn't. You sure did. And we thrive on the homework.
And I remember you saying, like, looking me dead in the eye and asking me, how committed are you? Like, are you committed to doing the work? And clear as day, stern as a dad. It was very, so I would trust the process, do the work, put in the work, and reap the rewards and the benefits when you graduate and when you're done.
Yeah.
But you guys, okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. I don't want to mess up your flow.
No, it's
go ahead.
fine. She's nailing all these questions. I don't even got to speak.
And I'm surprised.
Right?
Coming from
Yeah.
Amber, my God.
It's growth. It's
you
growth.
sure you don't want the mic, girl?
I think it's because there's a long pause. And then, are you not going to do it?
What was it for you?
I totally agree. The trust the process. I remember you telling me that, and I remember a few times, even phone calls throughout the week, when I just need some guidance on how to deal with this. But trust the process. You kept saying it. It would frustrate me even more because I'm like, I'm trying to trust the process. She ain't trusting the process, right? But I know what you meant in that. It was just deep down. That was my frustration is, somebody, your expectation of somebody changing overnight or in a week or whatever it was, right? How are you showing up to that conversation when it gets brought up, or how are you showing up with your feelings or your actions? So that's what trust the process meant in my head. And just like Amber said, doing the hard work, like, if you don't change anything, why would you expect things to change, right?
That part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what resistance does. It allows you to get stronger in whatever area. So the fact that we had to talk about those things that we never really dove into, we kind of just surface talked about it. That was hard. That was really hard.
Wow.
And I know one of the things for me was talking about the past and me assuming that she was over it, was fully forgiven, was fully like, all right, I can move past this. And I remember there was one of our sessions that I really found out she didn't, and she had something to say about it because we hadn't really dove into it. But if we wouldn't have dove into it, we wouldn't have had like that peace afterward,
Wow.
And I remember feeling like really convicted of that, like that maybe I didn't give her the proper discussion about it or the proper, platform to talk about it or whatever. So yeah, I remember that. And so that's why I say it was hard. It was hard to hear a lot of things. And once we did is it the Simbus? Like,
Yes.
to see where you rank out. And I remember both of us talking like, well, that ain't me. That ain't me. I'm better than that.
I
Right?
remember that.
Right? Yeah.
What kind of program is this?
Yeah.
So what would you say about it now?
It's funny.
Very accurate.
Yeah.
That's what most folks say. They start off like,
Yes.
no, I don't
That's
think so.
not
But
me.
by the time you get about halfway, it's like, yeah, it's spot on.
It's
Yeah.
about
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
It's funny because I was just reviewing it on the way here and looking back and seeing there was a question that says what you bring to the marriage. What are your strengths and what are your weaknesses? And man, that's a stat sheet right there because it kind of shows you, how you're really not showing up, in the way that you should as a husband or as a wife. Like, and if you have that information, why don't you change it? Why don't you work on it? So, you know what I mean? You have the answers to the test, but sometimes it's your ego or your pride that's keeping you from working on that. So it's just a reminder of, but also a good thing where we were, because I know we've definitely taken some strides and our conversations are a lot different now. It's just a different, yeah.
I just want to just piggyback off of something you just said. You said you have the answers to the test.
Right.
but you still got to take the test.
Mhm.
And sometimes a lot of us don't want to take the test because of what it may cost.
Yep.
But you got the answers there. You
Yeah.
got the cheat
You
sheet.
got it. Yeah.
You just got to go
Yeah.
through the steps. And that was something that, as both of you alluded to earlier about trusting the process, that's something that we had to learn in our early years.
Ooh.
Trust the process, but at the same time, go through the process
Yeah.
and take those steps through the test. Because as you go through there and pick up what you need to on the other side of it, oh my goodness,
Yep.
it's a wonderful thing.
Oh yeah.
And in this time in the season of football, and both of us being big football fans,
Oh God, they're going there, Amber.
as you go through practice,
Always
both
works
love
as an
two
analogy.
days,
That's
all
right.
that stuff.
That's right.
we don't want to go through it. Coaches got us running through these drills, like, come on, coach, come on.
That's right.
Okay.
It's painful, it's aggravating, right?
Mhm.
But the whole point of what coaches do is preparing us for the big game.
Yeah.
Preparing us for the, toward the end of the season, for the playoffs, for the championship. And if we trust the coach enough,
Yeah.
if we trust the process of all the rigor, all the gruelingness, all the discipline, it's going to be that much easier when we go through the real thing, when we're in the big show.
And I'll even say one more thing, football related.
Okay.
You play in the game
We're done.
after the week, and what do you do on Monday?
Rest and relax.
That, and you review the tape.
Yes.
So, we've done it for a while, but we had to start it up again because we got real lazy with it, but with check-ins, and that's been, that's
boy.
usually a big one for us. And we got away from it for a while, but
Yeah.
we sat down and we just talked. How was the week? How was the week with you? How did I show up? Right. And all you're doing is looking at the tape. And you're correcting something that maybe, hey, I could do that a little bit better. I could do this, but I'm getting her input. And I'm not just assuming. So, football now.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
Review the
gosh.
tape.
But you know what you said? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was saying, and I will say, when we did get away from those check-ins, those were when we entered into recent even seasons of just disconnect and complete, not chaos, but I mean just
Not connected.
disconnect
Yeah.
and kind of going through the motions at home with the kids,
Yeah.
where you find other things to just kind of keep you busy. So
And that I think, I don't know who had said it, but expectation and assumptions grow even bigger in between
Yes,
that
they
time,
do.
in between that communication. So, yeah.
I love the fact that you guys both said that you came back and reviewed,
Yes.
because you're all not the only one, because we've done it too and fallen in that place of having to go back and remember when somebody told us something.
We just did
So-
it 2 weekends ago.
Yeah, we sure
It was
did.
about 6 hours it
Well,
took
let's
us on a
talk about
Saturday.
that.
Well, no. But I mean, that's a real human thing in every
Yes.
relationship, regardless of what stage that
Yep,
you're in.
exactly.
You have to go back and review the plays, because if you don't, that, like you said, that disconnect will come in. And when you let one small thing come in, that disconnection starts to grow like this, and you wonder, how did we get this far apart from each other? And you don't even realize it, because there's so many different entities that came in at the same time.
Yep.
yeah.
So I am just freaking proud that you guys finished the process.
Us too.
That was cool. Thank you.
Finished it, and I'm just so elated to see how you guys are still taking those
That part right there.
strategies and still implementing and using them.
Absolutely.
Because as Marriage Evolves talks about, you're constantly evolving. So it's a never-ending
Exactly.
process.
Yeah.
Because where you are today, you're not going to be there 2 months from now.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be something different. So we are just so glad that you guys came to have this conversation
Yes.
with us about y'all process.
Absolutely. Thank you
Is
for
there
having us.
anything else that you would share with people that are going to watch this that helped y'all? Anything else outside of the trust and the communication that you think is very valuable?
I mean, we could name a bunch of them, but I guess to kind of sum it up, I would just say,
Respect.
kind of going back to trusting the process. If you want to get better at something,
Yeah.
you have to like dig in and do the work, right? You have to dissect what's not going right, and you have to do it together. The thing that I love that you guys bring, the one word that like sums you guys up to me, is team. Like that's a great
Wow.
word, and you guys always implement it in your podcasts, in just our sessions and everything. because as a team, you know, again in sports, if you're not, if you're on the same team but you're doing different things,
Yeah.
what's your season gonna look like? You know what I mean? So again, in seasons
Yeah.
of marriage, if we're not on the same page and we're not, you know, doing the same thing with the same mindset, it's gonna be bad. So I just always bring that aspect back to it. Is like, hey, we're a team. When we start arguing, if we start disagreeing, that's fine. But you know, we've been there before, and I'll tell you what's gonna make us,
Yeah.
you know,
Oh, that's
leave the
good.
room and do all
That's
that.
really good.
Yeah.
But I also know what has us staying here is to remember that we're a team and we're in this together and we want to solution this together, you know? So thank you
Dang,
guys.
babe, they're
Yeah.
a team.
Yeah.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Team.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Go ahead.
And I was just going to share, you know, for our audience, that is the number one thing in Marriage Evolves marriage coaching. We love to establish teams because it's not just about Roshawn and Roderick. It's about establishing teams so that others, like they said earlier, if I don't know how many of y'all caught that, but Pete Amber said earlier, we have taken what y'all given us and we shared it with other couples in our groups. And that's what we love to see. Reduplicate, multiply that. Because it don't just stop here. Because we're just one couple that's reaching out to another couple that can reach out to many other couples.
Yeah. That's
So
facts.
the beauty of coaching, if you don't have it down yet, and you should get it if you need it, or if you know someone that does, realize that you are a team searching for the same end goal in your relationship. And that's to be a godly marriage that can be an example to someone else. Well, you know what? We
You
thank
said
y'all.
that real good.
Thank you. Thank you. We thank y'all for stopping by today
Thank
and
you for
sharing with
having
us a few
us.
minutes.
Yes.
It's good to see y'all again. And one thing we like to say every time we
Always
close
at
out
the
is our
end.
little tagline: with
Two
two hearts,
hearts.
one team with one purpose. Almost got to twist it
Y'all
up.
gonna say it with us?
Oh, we're saying it
Absolutely.
together?
Yes.
Okay.
All
So,
right.
folks, we thank you once again, Team Busto, for stopping by. We are elated that they came and shared their experience with us. But in closing, we just want to let y'all know we are two hearts, one team with one purpose.